everyone. It's Jeannie here. I am joined by Shaan Sharma from The Chosen. Shmuel. I love saying your name. I literally say that all the time. So it's funny that we're here. Talk about just your experience from starting with The Chosen to what The Chosen is now.
Every actor will tell you there's a certain amount of luck in your career because you can't control what projects are being written unless you're a writer yourself. Mm-hmm. And so I was just very fortunate that this project came along and I was available at the time, and that my team brought me the audition opportunity. And so I auditioned for the project and booked it, and now we're 4 years in and we're not even halfway through. You know, we're shooting season 4 now. Yeah. It'll be out sometime by the end of the year, early next year. And we've still got, seasons 5, 6, and 7 to go. So I'm enjoying the blessing and the ride.
Yeah. I've been on set since the beginning. So I visited season 1 before, everything was, then visited season 2 or season 3. What are we on? We're going to season 4?
We're shooting season 4 right now.
Yeah, so I'll be there actually later this month too. Cool. Huh? And just to see the evolution of just the sets, and just the impact. Talk about that. I don't know your upbringing or faith status or any of that, but just talk about that, doing content like this, because you're an actor, you're an entertainer, but that has such deep, heavy, spiritual implications, soul-changing stuff for people.
Well, I tell people that I hit the lottery when it comes to the kinds of stories that you could tell. As an actor, you want to tell stories that impact people's lives. A lot of actors became actors because there was a movie or a show that they watched that they said, I want to do that. Or you watch the impact that a movie or a show or a play or something had on someone, and you're like, I want to have that impact on people. Yeah. Or I want to have a platform where when I say something, I can make a positive difference. Yeah. And so what story could I possibly tell that touches more lives in a more meaningful way than the story of Christ? There's nothing. And so I'm so lucky in that sense, but I was prepared to meet that opportunity so that I could deliver what they needed to deliver. So my skills and my training and all of that stuff came into play. And so it's been overwhelming because people don't just watch our show to be entertained, although it's a wonderful dramatic television series. It just happens to be based on the Bible. But people watch it for either learning about faith, either to explore their own faith, whether it's to see stories that they've learned about since they were children being brought to life in a new way, and in a more daring way, because there's creative license in this show that goes beyond just things that were in the Bible but adds rich life to what was around there. So, and it's a project that is supported by the people who want to see the show. So they have ownership over it. So when I was driving 2 days ago and somebody had come and see on the back of their SUV right before me, and I wanted to actually pull alongside them and roll down my window and say, hey, thanks for supporting the show, if I didn't think it would scare them, and they would,
hey, what's up, it's Shmuel here.
Yeah, exactly. But and sometimes when I'm flying back and forth, I'm wearing my my Chosen hat and this and that, and people don't expect that it's somebody who's in the cast. They're like, I love your hat. They don't realize it's Shmuel from the show. But so I just like that people who are in this community take ownership of it, and it's like being part of a club.
Right, and that's the beauty and the uniqueness of Angel. We're here at Angel Studios right now. Just being here, I've been here for 2 days now. The community vibe, the way Angel just has established that culture is very important. Talk about that as an entertainer, because I don't really know much. I know you've been on some great stuff before, but your catalog, this whole thing has got to kind of be a unique thing.
Totally unique.
Being in Hollywood.
100%. It's just, there's a big difference between a network or studio project and something that is an independent, built from the bottom up, with love and grit and perseverance and innovation and things like that. So, and our show and Angel have been innovating in ways that Hollywood or the traditional industry hasn't, including putting our show in movie theaters. I got to watch myself on the big screen. That was a life experience, to see myself in the theaters and take friends and family and go enjoy that. So, it's really a different energy, not just because of the innovation and the independent nature of it and the crowdfunding aspect of it, but also because it also feels like people know there's something greater at stake here than just creating a TV show. When you're working on other projects, the cast can be really professional, the crew, the director, everyone is enjoying telling a great story. They're doing their best. But on our sets and in this project, you kind of feel like this is in service to something greater than just creating it, good entertainment. So that it's a similar feeling. It's not I feel like this environment is transcendent to that, but it's similar to when I was working on a children's show. Because I was working on a show called Gordimer Gibbon's Life on Normal Street for Amazon back in 2013, 14, 15, something like that. And the energy on a children's show is so wholesome, right? Because everybody's on their best behavior because you want to make sure you're creating a safe environment for children. So there's a similar kind of vibe on the sets of The Chosen where people are on their best behavior because they just want to honor this opportunity and they want to be sensitive to everybody's experience and their faith. So it's just it's a very positive environment.
It's interesting you say that. I just got back from Israel, and I was taken aback by that. There was in the atmosphere, different faiths, but there was kind of a reverence for belief that here in America, we're just kind of like we're all over the place. So that was really nice. I get what you mean about just there being something in the atmosphere that's like, check yourself.
That's right.
Yeah. I love that.
And not from any kind of like.
Right.
Everyone wants to.
Yeah.
Everyone wants to just be awesome.
That's great.
Yeah.
Talk about the collectible scenes. I know we're here at Illuminate for Angel Studios, and we're going to talk about that. What is it?
Well, I think collectibles in the way Angel is doing it is going to transform the way we consume online entertainment content. And I know that's a big, thing to say, but I wouldn't be here if I didn't think that was the case. We all own collectibles. Everybody does, whether it's a hat, whether it's a shirt, whether it's a poster, whether we all want to be connected in some way to something that we love or have a piece of it for ourselves. Yeah. But if you have a poster on the wall, unless somebody comes into your home, they're not going to see it. They may not have the chance to know why you bought the poster. Why do you like that, movie or that show or that, musician or whatever it is. Yeah. This is a public way for whatever anybody on the planet watches The Chosen. They can see, if they're not in full screen view, they can see everybody who wanted to own a piece of that for themselves, why the scene touched them, why they felt compelled, what lessons they learned. You can see videos where they, in their own words, can share like why they wanted to own a piece of this for themselves. Yeah. And so it's a place for the community to come around the content and like really share with each other what it means to them, and especially with a show like The Chosen. I mean, gosh, like the way it's touched people's lives, bringing them back from the brink of suicide, or helping them with their substance abuse, or getting through grief, or whatever it is. I mean, I can't wait to just sit down and listen and learn how our work has impacted people's lives. And the economic activity of like buying and selling those slots with each other generates income for the studio, it generates it for the show, it generates it for the performers who are in it. So it's another way to support the people who are making the content. And then we all know there are these shows that are now disappearing because, for example, like Westworld was taken off of HBO Max because they didn't want to pay the writers, directors, performers for the residuals to have it on the platform. So they just took it off, and you can no longer see it. And so if we can create an economic model where they can continue to make money off of a show, then they'll keep it on the platform, and they won't take our beautiful work and just disappear it. So I think there's so many positive things that could come out of this, and so I'm really excited to be here at the ground floor.
Yeah, that's amazing. Bible says we overcome the enemy by the blood of the Lamb and the word of our testimony, and I think a lot of what speaks for The Chosen are those stories that you hear, and you're just like, how I can listen to something and be inspired, and by what they're testifying about. So
Absolutely.
It's amazing. Do you have a scene in the seasons that you've been in? I know you can't share about season 4, so in the first 3 seasons that you're like, this would be mine?
Oh gosh, yeah, it was hard to choose because they said send us some options of scenes that you really love because I'm somebody who's participating in this as well. And so one of the scenes that I really, really love is this scene at the end of season 1. It's in episode 8. It's when Shmuel confronts Nicodemus over not calling out Jesus for healing the paralytic. And we see Shmuel transform from being like the fanboy, oh, it's Nicodemus, my teacher, to being like, there's a point in our lives where you realize that grown-ups don't know everything. There's a point when you realize that the people I've been counting on to step up may not always do it or be able to do it. So there's like a maturing moment where Shmuel said, if you're not going to save our people, I'm going to have to do it. And what are you going to do when I do that, you know? And so I really enjoyed not only, again, working with Eric is just a dream come true because he's just a master of the craft. And, you know, so I got to work with him. But it was also really fun to play a scene where, you know, as a human being, you say, I'm taking responsibility. If you won't take responsibility, I'm going to take responsibility.
That's awesome. So what's the Storytellers Conservatory?
Well, it's very kind of you to ask. I've been an educator since I was in my early 20s.
It's your own thing.
Yeah, I mean, I've been a teacher, an acting teacher for a decade through my studio. It was called the Shaan Sharma Studio. It changed to Storytellers when I brought on two of my dearest friends to teach with me, John and Charles. And so the three of us rebranded it as Storytellers so that it wasn't just about me, because it's not just about me. And so, yeah, we develop people to act for film and television. We teach them about how to make a living as a performer, about the union, because very few people know how to educate about SAG-AFTRA and how it works. And then, of course, how to take care of your mental, physical, emotional, spiritual well-being, because if you can't function as a human being, you can't be reliable on set. So that's kind of the Storytellers. But I've been educating people about how to avoid falling into the pitfalls of the industry since I was in my early 20s.
That's amazing. How can people get a hold of you for that?
I'm the easiest person to Google. Very few people have my name.
Your name,
Exactly.
Well, that's amazing. Thank you for doing that.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny what you just said. So my husband's a pastor, and we're in ministry, and we disciple, right? So when we disciple, we don't just spiritually disciple because, like you just said, the other factors of life play into how you live out your spiritual life. So in a sense, what you're doing is like kind of whole kind of ministering to people anyway.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Well, you can't function, you can't be reliable if you can't function.
Yeah, it's so
And
true.
a lot of people are in this kind of area, you know, if we talk about a spectrum of function where 0 is I can't face life, I can't get out of bed, 100 is I'm a robot and I'm always perfect. None of us are in that spot, hopefully. But we're all somewhere in between. But in a certain place where I think the majority of people are, they have good days and bad days. They show up and do a great job one day, and then they're unprepared the next day. They have a good attitude one day, then they don't, whatever. And that's really hard to work with. So reliability is essential. If I need to know that when I call upon you, you're going to be prepared, you're going to be professional, you're going to have a wonderful attitude, all that stuff. And so I try to work with people that exemplify those traits. We all want to work with people who exemplify those traits. And so I tell people, I try to educate people to be the kind of performer that people don't just want to work with, they have to work with, because I need people like you on my sets.
It's hard. It's not. It's unusual. That's the sad part.
That's sad.
It's unusual to find reliable, professional people that are dedicated.
Well, we're just getting to a point where there's less stigma around mental health issues and people having substance abuse issues and being able to be open about it. Social media has had a destructive impact on people's self-image and their self-worth and all that. So we're all grappling with technology and things changing in society, and so it's really important that we take care of ourselves first. It's like put on your own oxygen mask before helping others.
Thank you so much, Shaan. Is there anything else you'd like to share?
I'm just really blessed to be on this journey. It's not often that a performer gets to have a home for a while. So having the support of The Chosen allows me to have time to volunteer for my community and take care of the writers, directors, and performers. We have the writer's strike that's happening right now, and then the directors are going in negotiating, and then we're going to go and negotiate in about a month. And so I'm really blessed that because The Chosen has supported me, I can help protect our professions.
Wow, love it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.